Do you know the UFO folklore about the bombs?
I mean, they show up a lot when
That's when they show up.
Yeah.
That's why at my club the rooms are named Fat Man and Little Boy. Mm-hmm. Because that's named after, because that's when they showed up.
I know. Well, my work on nuclear, it's suddenly like you'll be reading about all these nuclear tests, and you've got and also around the plants, and also around the missile silos is where you have a lot of UFO sightings.
Yes,
it's very weird.
Makes sense though.
I guess
if you were from another planet, what are you going to do? Check out their cabinetry? No, you're like, what are these motherfuckers doing with nuclear energy? Oh my God, they're trying to kill each other.
Well, but if those are actual beings, we think those are actual beings from advanced civilizations,
right?
On her, their weapons are going to be way more powerful than ours.
If they even have weapons.
Well, but if you can do what those Tic Tac UFOs are doing, if that's actually real, if we think those are not U.S. government or some foreign government tech, then you're talking about civilizations that have firepower way beyond what we have. So nuclear weapons wouldn't scare. I mean, they maybe think our consciousness is not evolved. They might think that. I don't know. It's very, it's a fun one. I don't know that I tend to think of it more as a spiritual problem than as a military problem.
How so?
Well, in the sense that if they were that powerful, then I don't think we would be able to fight them. I mean, if that's what their ships can do.
Yeah.
So then there's no it's not like we can. I mean, we're going to try to push our hydrocarbon fueled jet planes and rockets to go as fast as they can, but they're not going to do what those things are doing.
Right.
So it's more of a spiritual problem because, it's. I think it reminds us that we just don't. I mean, the Fermi paradox. We don't know what's going on. The Fermi paradox, by the way, is kind of wrong in the sense that he was like this huge universe. Where is everybody? But of course, like at that very moment is when you're. I mean, 1952. Is this period where there's this huge UFO sightings in Washington, D.C. They're scrambling jets to go chase them. It's in this great James Fox documentary. Mm-hmm. James Fox had another. By the way, I wrote a piece on it actually for New York Post about a UFO crash in Brazil. It's the craziest story. You get these stories, or the Zimbabwe kids at the end of the phenomenon. I mean,
I've had James on.
Yeah, he's brilliant.
Yeah,
he's
great
brilliant.
guy.
I think he and Jacques are the two people that are actually more careful about kind of saying what we think we know versus, what we speculate or what we don't know. I love the phenomenon though, because I do think it's humbling. I think that we were getting at this thing where the elites are so arrogant and they're so, on the one hand, on the other hand, they're so threatened by the rise of the internet and by these other voices. There just needs to be some kind of moment where we go, hey, we're all on this planet together, and stop trying to rule each other. Like we've got this beautiful America. Again, just allow me to be. It's like this system we have is absolutely amazing.
And started by people who wrote it with feathers.
Yeah. Well, for sure.
It's just pretty crazy that they had such foresight into what happens when people gain too much power and control over other people.
Well, and they knew that, look, if you're going to have democracy and you're going to have capitalism, you have to have freedom of speech. Because if you don't have freedom of speech, you don't have free flow of information. But it was even more than that. There was a sense in which being able to make these noises and these scribbles was like is fundamental to what it means to be human. It's actually expression. It's about. So when I was censored, it felt like it wasn't like, darn, I'm not going to sell as many books, or it was like it felt like something like essential in me was being repressed and oppressed.
And when you say censored, what you mean is, did they actually eliminate your posts?
They reduced the virality of them. So they reduced the spread.
So they put you in some sort of a shadow
and then
band.
They also put a little warning on it,
right,
like they would do on violence or sexual content.
Yeah.
And then now they just tag everything.